The best formula I ever heard about writing, I think, is attributed to Oliver Stone, and I think it was something like ass plus chair. That was it. Sit there and do the work. The problem is, so many writers think this screenplay, this one screenplay, is going to be the thing which, gets me out of my day job, or which finally gets me enough money where I can, pay back my loans, or it's going to, it's going to sum up my entire worldview, or this script is going to be the thing that helps me deal with my messed up childhood and puts it all in, or whatever it is. It's going to show everyone I grew up with that, whatever they put, this weight on these very delicate, fragile little things, which are these stories trying to grow and become alive, and all that pressure does nothing but, really hurt your chances of actually creating something like that.
If I'm inventing a story, I'll make notes to myself for a number of weeks, a month, or whatever, on 3x5 cards. And this is sort of an old trick invented by George S. Kaufman, who was a compulsive card player and a playwright. And he, because he always playing cards, he invented the 3x5 card system that everybody uses now. And I put them up on a bulletin board, and I'll say, it's sort of sometimes the rhythm, creates its own continuity. So you say, hero realizes leading lady has not been honest. Well, that's got to be not at the beginning of the movie, somewhere in the middle, because otherwise he had to believe her over here when she said she just got out of the nunnery here. So you sort of like block it out like Scrabble.
We started writing comedy, and when you're writing comedy, it's much better to have a person in the room with you, because when you tell a joke, you know instantly right away whether that's funny or not. And I also think it works really good with us in that it makes us double check each other's work, in the sense that I think a lot of times when you're by yourself, you will sort of go with the first thing that comes to your mind. And what happens in our relationship a bit is that I'll throw an idea out, Scott will reject it, Scott will throw an idea, I'll reject it, and then next time I throw an idea, he'll reject it because I rejected his. So it becomes this thing where we're bouncing back and forth, and so it becomes like the 10th idea that winds up being what we use. And because it's the 10th idea, it winds up maybe being a little more original, a little fresher than it would have been if I would have my first idea to how a guy enters the room.
But maybe that's why we're so slow.
That is why we're so slow. But
because we just don't type the first idea.
Right.
15 months later, here's a draft.
Well, it works your brain in a certain way. I mean, there is a math to it. I love language, and there's a certain, I have an expertise. There's an area that I do like to rewrite, which would be love scenes and making the woman smarter. Although sometimes I would rewrite pictures and I would give the woman a line and the male star would end up with it. There's just one classic one that I remember where I wrote it for Rene Russo, and Mel Gibson ended up with it. We didn't get old. We didn't get old with each other. We were supposed to get old with each other, not because of each other. And Mel ended up saying it. There were just certain ones that, when I was really enthusiastic about doing it, and there was a certain way that I wrote that I loved language, and so I loved when I could find a way of saying something. And in Hook there was, and now a man so quick he's even fast asleep. That was in Hook.
Writers, the better they are, the more unique and individual they are. And of course, the paradox of writing is that the more personal and idiosyncratic an idea is, the more it generalizes out to everybody. But studios almost never know that.
The writers who really make a mark are the ones who have a voice. And I always sort of say to writers trying to break in, write something crazy. Write something unique that is going to be totally different than the other 20 scripts in the pile of scripts that executive has to read that weekend. Because that's how you get remembered, and that's how you get jobs.
Right. And my advice usually is to a young writer is to write a movie you want to see. Don't write a movie that just you think someone else wants. Write a movie that if you opened that paper on Friday and you saw the ad for that movie, you'd be, oh my God, I'm calling in sick to work because I've got to be first in line to see that movie.
This is how we ended up producing Autofocus, because he just had to see a movie about Bob Crane's sex life.
I mean, it's true, to be quite honest.
It was made for Larry.
Yeah.
If you look back at the films that you really love, And then also, if you look back at the films that have made the most money, most of the time, it's a single vision, a single creative vision. Most of the time, I'll bet you 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, the movies that have been the most successful, either critically or through the Oscars or at the box office, were written by a single voice.